Okay, so in this section, we are going to go over factorials. So for many of you guys, it may be a little bit of a review, and for many of you guys, it may be something new, but I'm going to teach it as if you've never seen it before. So my first question says, how many ways can 5 people sit in 5 chairs if they all must be seated? Okay, so I'm going to pretend that these are chairs. So, oops, what's going on? Oops, that's why. With 2. Okay, so I'm gonna pretend that I have 5 chairs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now that I have my 5 chairs, I know that I have 5 people that I have to sit, right? So what I need to figure out is like, okay, well, what are all the possible combinations that I can sit 5 people in these 5 chairs? So in the very beginning, right, if we look at this particular chair, right here, well, for the first chair, how many different ways can I sit uh, these 5 people in this one chair? Well, there's 5 different ways, right? Because right now I have, whoops, I suck at drawing. So right now I have 5 people. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 5, I'm going off the screen. So right now I have 5 people and I have to be able to sit them in this chair. So at this point, well, I have 5 different ways because I can fit this one or this one or this one and so on and so forth. So right here I have 5 ways, right? Now, once this person is seated, right? So let's say this person is now seated in here. How many different ways can it sit the next one here? Well, now we only have 4 people, so there's only 4 different ways that I can sit them there, right? And then so on and so forth. So hopefully you guys kind of get the pattern. Then after that is 3 ways, then it's 2 ways, and then it's 1 way, right? So basically I can have 5 people, and then 4 people, and then 3, and then 2, and then 1. And essentially what you do, you just kind of want to multiply all these numbers together, right? We're going to go ahead and multiply these numbers together, put it in our calculator, right? So 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 gives me 120. Now, this is what we call a factorial. And the way that we say factorial, or the way that we write a factorial, is 5 factorial. So that little exclamation point, right here, is what we're going to call our factorial. That's a factorial. Okay, so that's what I'm going to call that. Okay, and basically what a factorial does, it just multiplies the number, right, by the number itself, right? So 5, and then I decrease it by 1. So 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, right? Which gives us 120. Okay, so let's say I wanted to know what 3 factorial is. Well, 3 factorial is just 3 times 2 times 1, right? I multiply these numbers together and I get 6. Okay, now if you have your calculator, right, in your calculator, right, let me go ahead and get rid of this. I don't know what this is. You will actually have a factorial sign. So let's say I wanted to figure out what 5 factorial is. I would press the number 5 first, right? And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and click on the button that says math, right? Then I'm going to go all the way to the probability symbol, right? And then I'm going to go all the way down to my factorial, which is the number 4. Okay, I'm going to press enter. 5 factorial equals 120. Okay, so that's basically what a factorial is. If you have the TI-36, you just have to look for the button that says NCR, MPR, and then you'll see the factorial sign. You'll be able to activate it there. I'll show you in class if you still cannot find it. I just don't have an emulator for this one. So let me go ahead and lower this a little bit. Okay, so that's basically what a factorial is. You just take the number, right, with an exclamation point. Doesn't mean that you're going to scream it literally really loud. It just says you have to multiply the number and then multiply it by 1 less than whatever that number was. Okay, all right, so let me go ahead and so what did I do? Okay, so let me go ahead and ask this question instead. So your friend has 4 kittens and you want to choose 2 kittens at random. How many ways can you choose 2 kittens from the 4? So how would you do this type of problem? This is very different than the way that we have the other problem. Because here what we have is 4 kittens, right? So I suck at drawing. Here's my first kitten. Here's my second kitten. My third. Oh, these are so cute. Okay, and then my fourth. Oh my God, this kitten. All right, so here are my 4 kittens, right? They are varying in size in this case. But what I want to do, I want to choose 2 kittens at random, right? So how many ways can I choose 2 kittens from the 4? So I'll give you a little bit of time to think about this. So pause the video and then try it. Okay, so hopefully, let's see what you got. Well, did you come up with the number 6 maybe? Well, I don't know. Well, let's see. What am I really asking to do? Okay, that's probably something that we need to go ahead and address. So, okay, so how many ways can I choose 2 kittens from the 4? Well, one combination that I can do is I can choose these 2 kittens if I wanted to, right? Or I could have chosen the first one and the third one. Or the first one and the last one, right? So how many combinations is that? That's 3 different combinations, right? I can get the first 2, the first one and the third one, and the first one and the last one, right? That's 3 combinations, right? Or I could have gotten also this one and the middle one, right? The second one and the third one, or the second one and the fourth one, right? So that's 2 more combinations, right? Or I could have also chosen the last one and this one. So how many total combinations is that? Yes, so it's 6 total combinations. Okay, now what about if I said I had 12 kittens and I wanted to choose 9? Well, that's going to be a little bit harder, and you don't want to be drawing 12 kittens and trying to choose every possible way. So what we are going to do, and what I propose, is that we are going to go ahead and use this formula. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this formula before. I know if you took my Math 92 class, you have seen this formula before. But this is what this is. So this is what we're going to call the binomial coefficient. Coefficient. Right? And what the binomial coefficient basically is, if I want to know if I have n items, right? So I have n items, right? And from n items, I want to choose X amount of units. So for example, in this case, I had 4 kittens and I wanted to choose 2. Well, the way that we would write this is n choose X. That's how we write it. So here I'm going to write n choose X. And choose X. That's basically how we write it. Okay. And what this is equal to, don't freak out, this is equal to n factorial over x factorial times n minus x factorial. That is how we would find this type of combination. Okay, so remember, let's go back to our problem. Oh my God, why do I keep doing that? Okay, so remember we wanted to choose 4 kittens, right? So from 4 kittens, we wanted to choose 2 of them, right? Well, let's go ahead and plug it into this binomial coefficient. So we know that n equals 4, so I'm going to plug in 4 on top, n factorial, divided by x. X in this case is 2 factorial, and 4 minus 2 factorial. Okay, so how the heck do we solve that? Okay, let's leave the top one by itself, right? So 4 factorial divided by 2 factorial, right? And then 4 minus 2 gives me 2, so I have 2 factorial on the bottom. Okay, so now the way that we can do this is we can easily put it in the calculator if we want, or we can go ahead and try to expand this, right? So 4 factorial is just 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 divided by, well, 2 factorial is just 2 times 1. 2 factorial is also 2 times 1. Notice that 2 times 1 and 2 times 1 cancel out. 4 times 3 gives me 12. 2 times 1 gives me 2. So 12 divided by 2 gives me 6. That is my answer. Okay. A little bit of computation now. So now we're really getting into the algebra. But this is how you would go ahead and solve it. So in the next video is going to be the last video, I promise. We're going to do a little bit more problems like this. And for right now, what I want you guys to go ahead and work on before you go into the next video is try to figure out what this is. Try to figure out what, let's say from 7 items, choose, I don't know, 5. Okay, tell me what this is. So try it out using the binomial coefficient formula.